And I'm Tommy.
And we're reviewing Planet of the Apes.
A brilliant film.
It's pretty meh.
It's really good.
I know it is. Everyone says it's a great movie, and I respect it for what it is. But I personally still think it's mediocre.
Okay, so first we're gonna do like a spoiler-free sort of what is this film? Do I want to watch this film? And then we're gonna actually get into the actual plot of the film. So if you haven't seen this film, then you can listen to this part. But then when we get to the actual spoiler part, you can just get out.
We'll say we'll say when spoilers coming.
Yeah, we'll say when. We'll just when.
Because I didn't think this movie was unbelievable, but I still think you should watch it as a movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just not my favorite.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Okay, so this film is about a bloke. He's the pilot of an expedition that's going to delve into what the human civilization is like 700 years from now. So what he does is he leads a ship of four people, and they're gonna hibernate for 6 months, and because they're gonna travel around the speed of light, they'll be able to go 700 years into the future.
And by the theory of relativity, they stay on the ship for 6 months awake. And with the theory of relativity, their being on the ship for 6 months means they've traveled. It's been 700 years on Earth.
Yeah, because it's all to do with time. Is all to do with speed.
Time and speed and sciencey stuff that I don't get.
Yeah, Luke doesn't get it. So
do you get it?
Yeah. Of course, I get it. Yeah.
Of course, I'm a genius.
Yeah. So. Anyway, they do this hibernation thing, and then they wake up and their ship's landed on this planet, and they discover that instead of going for 6 months, they've been there for 18 months. So they've gone almost 2,000 years into the future, and also one of the crew members is dead, the only female. And
I feel like that's a spoiler.
No,
I mean, I guess, trailers. It was in the trailer, to be fair.
Was it?
I think it might have been.
But anyway, they're on this weird planet that they didn't want to land on, and
there are apes. I feel like if we say any more, we'll spoil the movie.
Yeah, then there are apes on this planet.
Yes, there are apes.
That talk.
Yeah.
They're intelligent. If
you like The Twilight Zone, the guy who wrote that actually co-wrote this, Rod Serling. He co-wrote this, and he also wrote The Shining, and he's the guy who at the beginning of every episode would talk about the Twilight Zone and stuff.
Oh, the Twilight Zone is a really good series.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Jordan Peele one?
Is it? They had a new Twilight Zone series.
Yeah, Jordan Peele's producing, and he plays Rod Serling in it.
Really?
Yeah, it's like people didn't like it, but I've only watched like the first few episodes. But I mean, it didn't seem too bad.
I'll check that out maybe.
Yeah,
but
it's decent. Okay,
I think of Jordan Peele stuff is hit and miss. I like his films, but some of his comedy sketches are a bit.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he was
iffy.
He was kind of perfecting it then. Although he's also done that new Hunters series on Amazon.
Hunters.
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
I'll check that.
Anyway, before we get off track, that is the end of our spoiler-free review. If you read, we think you should see the movie. It's a good movie, and we're gonna spoil it. In 3, 2, 1.
The opening scene is a man taking a voice memo. He's saying he's going to travel 700 years into the future, and they're going to go in hibernation for 6 months. He ends the memo, leading to a very long opening title. I'd put very long.
Yeah. So he's going into hibernation, and the rest of his crew has already gone into hibernation. And there's 2 other dudes and a lady.
I put very long opening titles because if you If you
Yeah, that wasn't very long.
and the opening titles, they're just very, very long. It's like the same length as the ending credits. I just had to put that down. I think it's because
Yeah.
it's an old film that just happens.
Yeah.
So then as the ship lands, there's a really cool sequence of like distorted looking shots.
Yeah, it's a crazy. This movie has a ton of crazy editing. Just like it's like the director was on like it's just shit crazy.
Yeah, they basically just put all the budget into doing seriously sick shots. So this shot just sees their ship tumbling through the air, and it lands in a bed of water in a desert.
Yeah.
They look over and see the female crew member is probably couldn't be defined as a lady anymore.
Just like a fossil.
Just a skeleton.
The logic I think they use is that so when they went into coma they had these like glass panels that slid over them.
Yeah,
put like them in a pressurized cabin sort of thing, and hers cracked, which made her age at a normal speed. So she's like aged.
Wouldn't happen. I'm telling you, if it cracked, and this happened, then all that would happen was wake up, because if you're traveling in that ship at the same speed, you wouldn't age like that.
Yeah.
Still. So that's just something to.
Yeah, but it's a 50s sci-fi movie. No one cares.
Yeah, I'm sure the people going to watch the film will be like, yeah,
that checks out.
Yeah.
All right. So they crash land into like a big mass of water. I don't know how to describe it other than that.
Yeah, they when they've landed, it starts to flood the ship, so they decide to abandon the ship. And as they leave, Taylor sees a clock, and it shows him that they've gone further forward in time than planned. The ship sinks as they row a raft.
They have like a raft thing, like a railway. Kind of goofy looking.
They're unsure what planet it is during a conversation, but what they know is they've been away from Earth for 2,000 years. They decide to look for life because, that's probably what you do if you're on an alien planet.
Yeah, and they plant. They plant a tiny American flag.
Yeah,
capitalism, everyone.
So they all decide to go skidding down a cliff. I like that shot.
There's kind of it's a lot of shots of them just kind of walking, and the captain Taylor is messing with the other guy who looks a lot like Lincoln. I feel like he looks a lot like Lincoln.
What's his name? Let me just. I'm really sorry, Taylor's friend. I can't remember.
He is
Lambert. That's his name.
Lambert, yeah.
So so they all skid down a cliff and continue to walk through the dry land. They've apparently travelled 300 light years away from Earth.
So they're kind of just walking. It's a lot of shots of them walking and talking and messing with each other and walking. It just kind of. Oh, and sorry, I didn't mention this. It said they had enough provisions for 3 days. So they're looking for life, and that is the plan.
They're looking for something to eat. So they find a plant and realise that there is life on the planet. Well, there probably would be life on any planet with water anyway. But
yeah, I mean, you good.
And then they find more trees and what appear to be scarecrows. That I got freaked out because this reminded me of that scene in Texas Chainsaw Massacre when it's got that decayed body
at the very beginning.
Yeah. I thought that was that all the scarecrows were going to be like that when I first watched it, and I was like, oh.
That is that's some like very good directing because it genuinely kind of freaks you out. Well, that's like because they also like they're very in like they look like they're like up with their hands above them, and it's kind of intimidating.
Yeah, it basically makes even though they're not crows, it makes everyone feel unwelcome.
Yeah, so, and then like, sorry,
it's calm.
And then they as they keep walking, you see like these things in the background behind the rocks following them. Like you'll see like a flash of like a figure like just kind of walk between rocks really quickly. and you're like, they're being followed.
Yeah, they don't see it, but it's like
They did.
this film uses quite a bit, not like an insane amount, but it uses quite a bit of dramatic irony when we know something that's happening, and it's really stressful because the characters don't know. Especially it's like some areas like that, and some areas you kind of. Well, I'll just get into it later on.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is kind of one of my problems with this. It's this opening stretch is so long.
I think it just shows the viewers how lost the people are.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it wasn't the case when it came out, because, as you know, like, cinema and film has changed. I just felt like this was really long, and, like, then the shots of, like, the monkeys, what are they calling them, monkeys, guys? Between the rocks, I'm just like, we know this is the planet of the apes. We know they're apes. Come on.
Okay, so they an absolutely amazing point of view shot that's done by one of the cast members running up the cliff. You know that one where it looks like you're climbing up the cliff. That one shot.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. It sees them up the hill, and they see a forest, and then they walk through the forest, and they see this waterfall. And they decide to take off all their clothes and jump.
They're gonna do the average Friday the 13th trope and go skinny dipping.
Yes, and
and I heard someone else said this, and it's kind of funny. They said that if the woman hadn't died at the beginning of this movie, it would be a very different movie.
It would be a very Friday the 13th movie. So some of the native people on this alien planet think it would be funny if they take their clothes. I don't think this would be funny. They just
kind of see you see some disembodied hands just kind of taking clothes as you do.
This just reminds me of did you ever watch the remake of The Parent Trap?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Basically, there's after losing a bet, one of the girls has to jump into the river, and then all the girls take her clothes. This just I don't know why, but this just reminded me of that when I first watched it. So anyway, there's some really cool music as they chase these people through the forest, and then they go onto this like grassy plain, and they can see loads of primitive looking people. They're like
these cavemen sort of people, and they're like in tall grass.
And monkey people. They're like people, but they behave like monkeys.
They're cavemen. Cavemen. Yes.
Okay. One thing that's for certain, they can't make any noise with their mouth.
Yeah, they can't talk. I think they can make. I think they can make noise with their mouths.
They
maybe not.
They
can't.
They're completely mute. They can't. And that's explained later on.
Yeah.
And anyway, loud noise, and everyone starts running because there's something that's called the hunt, which is where all the apes come, and they try and take all the people. So there are apes riding.
Slaves.
There is these apes riding horses, and they like start shooting at the people.
They have guns, which is weird because everything else is kind of more well, like it's older, but then they have guns, just because of guns. So they start shooting at the humans, and
one of the members of crew is shot dead.
And then, the other crewmate, whose name I have already forgotten.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, we're gonna call him Lincoln. Oh, Landon, that's his name. Landon.
But it's not
Landon.
He dies.
Yeah, remember, no, Landon doesn't die. He gets caught.
Oh yeah, Lambert's caught, and one of the other crew member dies.
Yes. Whose name we cannot remember.
And Taylor
shot in the throat. He gets shot in the throat, which
the apes
logically should kill him. It also should logically kill him because his crew member just got shot in the back of the neck and died. So how is this guy getting shot in the throat and is just gonna walk it off, you know?
I, I, I don't know. I just guess it's because they wanted him to have some kind of injury that made him not able to talk.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like okay. Again, older movie, 50s, not gonna freak out at too much, but plot hole.
So then these really weird apes decide to take pictures with the dead people.
Yeah, it's like it's very similar to like older 1800s explore the shots, the pictures 1800s like, explorers would take with like tribes people.
Yeah,
I hope that's the right term. It's kind of like that, but they're taking pictures and they got like strung up humans at their feet, and they're smiling. It's kind of goofy.
it's like, hey, take a picture, and when an ape says smile, that's when we realize, oh, these apes can talk English.
They speak English.
I really, I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say something at the end, so just bear that in mind.
I mean, you can say it now. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, sure.
Because
Okay, so
yeah, so the apes.
so Taylor, we don't know his name. That's his name. Yeah, but his name's Taylor. He
Uh,
gets taken to like this. What's the term? It's like a caging place. It's like a big prison for people.
and
Now
the
realize it's just a prison.
these two doctor apes look after him, and he's like next to this woman, and his like arms and legs are tied down, and he's trying to like talk, but he can't. And what they do is they say, oh,
The doctors are called. Sorry, the doctors called Doctor Zera and Cornelius.
I just couldn't help thinking of in Harry Potter the Ministry of Magic.
Yes, like no. I was like, what is that name from here? Cornelius. I think it's an awesome name.
I don't know why, but if I had a son, I probably wouldn't call him Cornelius.
Maybe not your son, but like if I had a cat, I'm gonna call him Cornelius. I think Cornelius the cat. Then I'm gonna think of pasta every time I think of Cornelius. You know, I'm gonna edit this out. Scratch it.
Don't edit this out. This part's great.
Yeah.
Maybe Cornelius the raccoon too.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, enough about Cornelius. They put him in a cage and they give him the woman as a present, which is an awfully.
Well, it's less of a present than just like makes. Well, because they do it after he shows like he can understand kind of language, he can copy it.
No, they do it first because they want them to mate. And then they take him outside, and there's this really frustrating scene where he's writing in the sand, and the woman keeps rubbing it out.
Yeah, because she thinks it's kind of like a game because he's writing in the sand with his hands, and she kind of just like keeps scraping it out, and the other guy starts scraping out, and then they get into a fight.
So yeah, he gets a fight with another guy, and then the leader, and then like they obviously like take him away after the fight, and then there's this really weird shot where the ape leader, he sees the writing and he kind of just like scuffs it out.
Dr. Zaius, which is the greatest name ever.
The leader guy.
Yeah, Dr. Zaius. His name is Dr. It's Dr. Zaius who does it, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, Dr. Zaius. And there's like a musical version because it's really funny, and it's like Dr. Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
Anyway, then he gets taken back to back to the cage, where he shows that he's trying to mouth something, and they're like, "Oh, what's up with him?" And he says he beckons the woman, like, "Come closer, come closer." No, not the woman, the lady ape, and then he takes the
a notepad.
Huh?
He like grabs her and then rustles the notepad out of her hands.
He writes, "I am Taylor," and
very quickly somehow he just writes, "I am Taylor."
And then they kind of take him to this office place, and they let him go, and they don't let him go, but they stop like restraining him, and they let him write what he likes, and he tells them that he's from another planet, but they
think he's crazy.
That because they don't believe that flight is possible, but then he proves that flight is possible using a paper airplane, and they're like, "What?
Like, oh my god, flight!"
I don't know. I don't get how they wouldn't know that already, because like if you drop a piece of paper, it floats.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, dude, it's a paper airplane. If you didn't work that out, it's on you.
So the other doctor, Cornelius, reveals that the reason why he finds Taylor so fascinating is because he believes that there used to be another civilization of humans who evolved to the apes.
Yeah, Cornelius is an architect. So Cornelius is an architect, and a year ago, he went to an old digging site, and he found evidence of a species before the apes,
which is very blasphemous in their culture.
Yeah,
could be executed for having this.
They have monkey god.
Yeah, it's basically like a messed up Christianity sort of that they have. It's like have you read the Philip Pullman books, His Dark Materials?
No, I have not read this. I've read the prequel to them, but I haven't read them.
Oh, so it's a bit like the Magisterium.
I know that.
The Magisterium. So then the ape leader comes in, and they say,
Dr. Zaius. I'm gonna do that throughout the entire episode. You have to deal with
it. And Cornelius says, "Oh, he made this thing fly. He can speak and he can reason." And the ape leader says,
"Blasphemous."
He says it's blasphemous. He says, and then they say, "Oh, just try it. Just try the airplane, just to see if it works." He says nonsense and
scratches it up.
So then that night, Taylor runs away from the cage. He basically attacks one of the apes who cleans him and runs off. And he gets chased in this really cool scene, like through all the town and stuff. I think this is probably one of the scenes that you found long.
I mean, I didn't find this one long because I did find it a tad long, but no, it was decent. I understood why it was there.
So this scene is pretty cool. He goes through the town. He goes down a museum where he sees his co-pilot has been stuffed, and his eyes removed.
Oh, it's very kind of grisly. It's like it's similar to. It's again it looks a bit like this movie is basically a very long Twilight Zone episode. But because he finds his co-pilot and he's been stuffed. Like you'd see an animal in a museum stuffed, and he has glass eyes in. It's just creepy. It's unnerving.
And then he's chased by a mob of angry apes in the center of town.
Yeah, because he also goes into a religious. He goes into a religious kind of room where they're preaching.
Oh yeah, and then there's that little ape boy, and he says, "Hey, there's a man here! There's a man here!"
And everyone starts screaming.
And they chase after him, and there's this angry mob of apes that start throwing food at him, and he gets captured. And one of the apes grabs his leg, and he says,
"Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!"
So they have a trial, and this is...
I'm not sure why they have a trial. It's just kind of a trial because that's kind of what you do, I guess.
And the apes reveal that they think God made apes in his image, when Christians believe that God made humans in their image, which is a bit weird.
I did not look this up, but I would not be surprised if this was because I know this is a slightly political movie. I'll talk about this more at the ending. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was Christianity related. If there was if the writers wanted there to be a subtext of religious kind of mockery in a sense, almost.
But not really, because as you can tell by the way that he interprets what they're saying, he's saying, no, we're the ones who are better than apes, not apes. This was all written about us. So it's more like how
conflicting views.
Religion can be misinterpreted and used to be something bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's just a lot of ways to view this film, and it's a good film. I just found it a bit slow.
So then
what happens then? Oh yeah.
They
Dr. Zira. Sorry.
To prove his point, Taylor says, "Well, there are other humans like this. We came on a spaceship," and they said, well, let us see the other people. And they say, well, Taylor says, well, you killed one of them, but my other friend, you just captured. So they said, okay, we'll take you to see Lambert, and you can talk to him and show us that he can talk. So when they go and find Lambert, he quickly realizes that they've tampered with his brain. I mean, it's obvious to tell because he's got a huge scar on the side of his head where
they've shaved half of the side of his head. It's got like a big shoehorn size shape. Scar on his brain, and I think they removed part of his brain or something. I don't know.
It probably turned it into a slushy.
Again, not how human anatomy works, but who cares?
And then Taylor just gets so annoyed, he just starts shouting at them, and because he knows, and the Dr. Cornelius knows, and all of the people, all of the apes know, but the way that they're just so covering up of it, saying, "Oh, we didn't tamper with his brain. That's just there because he hurt his skull." If someone hurts their skull, that is not the way you fix it.
I mean, maybe it is for them. To be fair, they have like a weird 1700s level of science. So,
and to punish Cornelius for his blasphemy, they say they're going to fire him.
Well, they're going to fire him. Well, they charge Cornelius and Dr. Zero with I can't remember the term. They oh god. They charge it. They say that they created Tyler as like some mad experiment, and they will be killed, and they're going to get killed for it or something. I don't know. They say yeah.
So that basically just annoys Taylor to another level.
Well, yeah. So Taylor's put into Dr. Zaius's custody, and Dr. Zaius says that he believes that Taylor is one of many, many humans that are in the Forbidden Zone, which is where he landed, and he's making up a story to protect the other humans.
Yeah, he basically admits that he knows that humans can talk. He's known for a while.
No, I don't think he admits it yet. He says that
he says he knows humans can talk, and he says that they're a mutated branch of humans that come from part of the Forbidden Zone, and then he says, but I believe you. I don't think you're a Frankenstein, but I'm gonna still keep you here because I'm psycho. And
he says, what I'll do is if you tell me where the other humans are, I'll let you go free. If you don't, I'll experiment on you and stuff. And
he says, I told you the truth.
And
so
like, no, you haven't.
Put back in his cage, and then
another character kind of shows up because why not?
Then this new ape shows up. He's
like a young dude.
What is the doctor?
He's the nephew, and in my notes I just referred to him as nephew.
Yeah, he's the nephew of what doctor was it? Was it
Dr. Zira? I think it's Zira. Yeah.
Okay, so then that ape helps Taylor escape from his cage, and they take him outside. And Cornelius and his wife are out there, and they decide to go and live in the Forbidden Zone because they think it will be safe for them.
Yeah, so what they're gonna do is they say we're gonna take you to the Forbidden Zone. We're going to take you to the old digging site, and we're going to see if you can prove that we are right and not blasphemous.
But they said that it will be safer for us to live in the Forbidden Zone because Cornelius has been there. He knows it's not dangerous.
Well, I think Cornelius and Dr. Zero actually. I think they just want to kind of prove that name more than anything because they know that. Yeah, maybe they can survive there, but it's safer with the other apes.
Yeah. So according to the scrolls, Forbidden Zone is deadly, but Cornelius has been there and he knows otherwise. When Taylor does leave his enclosure, he brings along his female friend, although Cornelius and his wife are not happy about that.
He brings he named her Nova earlier today, like earlier in the film. Yeah, she's called Nova, and she's busy. She has no other role than being a woman.
Yeah.
That's her role in the movie. So
then
yes,
they
so
travel-
that happens.
So then they travel down to this beach on horseback.
Yes, onto the coast where there's like a digging site built into the cliffs, and they're like still ladders and landings from where Cornelius.
The apes get so shocked when Taylor pulls out a knife and starts to shave, and they're like,
Oh, you
"Why
look even
have you
uglier.
hair from your face? You look more stupid now."
You look dumber. Your hair has made your lacking of hair makes you look dumb.
So then they go and find the cave that proves that proves the apes' faith wrong.
And there's not a lot there, but there's like the one they found like a few things like dentures. They found like an old man's dentures, and oh yeah, and the other apes arrive, and they're gonna capture. They're gonna kidnap kidnap Cornelius and Dr. Zero and Taylor.
So anyway, the leader of the apes goes down with them to see if he can be proved wrong, and Taylor.
Well, I think Taylor kind of takes Dr. Zaius, who's the leader, hostage, and says, "Bring back more stuff for us because you want stuff."
But there's more. Like when they're down in the cave.
Yeah. So yeah, then he takes Dr. Zaius down to the cave, and
he shows Dr. Zaius that the artifacts, and Dr. Zaius says, "Well, my daughter has a human doll."
Well, yeah, because they show a human doll, and he's like, "Well, I have a human doll," and then it shows it has a tiny speaker in it,
and it shows that because some dolls they like squeak when you.
Or they make a noise, and I think maybe this one just hard drive got damaged or something.
It's like it explains it. It's like 3,000 years after when he left. So I reckon it will be one of those squeaky ones because any electronics wouldn't work.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, so he finds the doll, and Dr. Zaius
says, if the apes made this doll, then why would they make it talk? And he squeezes it, and then Dr. Zaius, is it his name?
Yeah, Dr. Zaius. Dr. Zaius.
He realizes they've won, but he won't allow that, and he leaves the cave and tells his men to blow it up.
Yeah, well, because his men arrive, and then they struggle with the nephew, and there's like a shootout, and then Zaius eventually regains control, and then he tells them to blow it up, and that nothing matters. This is how things are, and he says, "I know." He says to Cornelius and Dr. Zero, he says, "I know you're right, but I'm still gonna say you're wrong, just because that's what's better." Because I think the like a monkey Bible says that man is like a thing that as a monstrous kind of creature that will kill each other for land and greed and wealth and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which isn't necessarily wrong.
So then, after the shootout, Taylor takes Dr. Zaius hostage, and he demands that a week's supplies to.
No, I think when the actually, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
For him and the woman.
And he strings up Dr. Zaius to me and remember Dr. Zero? Why do they always?
And then he says then the leader ape says when he's tied up, "Oh, I knew all along about the old civilization of man," and then he says, "Oh, I just covered it up because otherwise it would be blasphemous."
Well, he said also that the Bible says that humans must be disgraced and everything because they destroy that humans as a species destroy everything in their path, and just letting them like grow as a species and stuff would be a very bad idea.
So then Taylor says goodbye to his ape friends, and he then leaves on horseback with his woman
Nova, the woman that is a character.
He says I'm gonna go and see what's out there, and the leader ape says, well, Dr. Zaius? Yeah, he says, you won't like what you see.
Yeah, so...
And then Taylor leaves the apes, and the cave is blown up.
Yeah, they blow up the cave, and he says, everything's gonna be same as back. You guys are gonna go to jail. We're gonna leave that dude alone. Everything has to stay as it was, because that's things are working as they are, and if we change anything, it might backfire on us. So, yeah.
And is one of the most iconic scenes in...
Yeah, this I know was fully written by Rob Sterling, because I mean you can tell if you've seen any of Twilight Zone, this is a very Twilight Zone-esque ending.
So then Taylor rides off, and you don't really see much at first. You see the point of something, and you see Taylor just looking at it, and then it follows around to 4 or 5 spikes, and then it shows from Taylor's point of view that it's the Statue of Liberty buried in the sand.
And he gets on the boat, he's like, you blow it up! You bastards! You blew it up! And I think it's very, like, conscientious of it, because this came out in, like, it came out in 1968. Is it 1968 or 1962? I feel like it's 1968, but I heard someone else that doesn't.
Yeah, 68.
Yeah. And it was very conscious of the Cold War and how people were very worried that we'd blow up everything with nuclear weapons. And so this ending where it showed how we did blow up everything up, and this is the remains of the Statue of Liberty, which still is and was the image of America. It's America's. I mean, America doesn't have like many actual landmarks, so this is one. The Statue of Liberty is one of its landmarks. Is kind of the image of America.
I'm sure what was upsetting for him too was, because he obviously was a pilot, so he knew a great deal about ships. Maybe even he had a chance of getting back to what he thought was home, but this sight makes him realise that
he was at home the entire movie. He's been on Earth. He wasn't on some other planet. Humans blew everything up, and he landed back on Earth. It's a very somber ending.
It's very
mildly depressing.
So, what do you think of the film then?
I mean, again, it's a good ending. It's got some good points. Maybe I've liked it more now we've discussed it. It's not my favorite movie, but I think it's a good movie. And if you still listen to this and you haven't watched it, I think you should. It's a good movie. It's not too long. It's like an hour and 20 minutes.
In my opinion, it's a brilliant film, and it's filled with morals, both religious and
political.
Political. Well, I can never get that word right. I always get political.
Yeah, I don't want you to stumble on words.
Right. So, thank you for watching the C-Files. Once again, I am Tommy.
And I'm Luke. You can contact us at thecfiles@gmail.com if you want us to review any movies or anything, or anything like that. Until next time, we're the C-Files, and we'll see you.
Hi, this is Luke. If you like that video, please like and subscribe, and click the bell icon for notifications about new videos.